Most people say they want the feedback until they actually get it. And critique feels uncomfortable, exposed, and personal at times. But silence feels safe until you realize it's costing you the growth. No feedback doesn't mean you're doing great. It often means you're being overlooked. And so today, we're going to reframe the idea of feedback not as criticism, but as one of the clearest signals that growth is still possible. Let's revisit that right after this.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
I thank you very much for listening today. When was the last time someone gave you honest feedback? And how did you respond? Now, I will express to you my own personal experiences of getting feedback. And feedback, I'm going to come from my corporate America experience. And so for me, my feedback moments would be my weekly meetings with my supervisor. I was in hospital networks. So my job at that time, and you could review it on my LinkedIn profile, my job at the time as a hospital network coordinator, I had to assist hospitals with our insurance company with their contracts, with their certain other lists with medications or being a formulary, whether it might have been understanding whether or not people were getting paid based off of certain contracts, certain bills were or claims were being taken care of. I had various jobs, so I had to report to my supervisor every Wednesday about what might have been accomplished in the last week. So some of that might have been, follow up on phone calls, making sure that we are on track for us to renew upcoming contracts, or understanding that, hey, it's going to take this amount of time when we have our monthly meeting with said hospital, that is going to be the we're going to be able to answer the questions more effectively and more efficiently. And so with that being said, those things or those moments of getting that feedback were crucial. They really were, because it helped me to understand where I was or where I was not. And so here is what I would like for you to think about. See, silence creates blind spots. And when feedback, when it disappears, so does clarity. And silence allows assumptions to grow unchecked. And professionals who rely only on self-assessment eventually misses what others can see clearly. Feedback also signals investment. People don't give feedback unless they care about your improvement. And feedback means someone believes you can grow, and silence often signals disengagement but not approval. And growth requires exposure. You can improve what you won't expose, or you can't improve what you won't expose. Feedback forces visibility. The willingness to hear truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is what separates growth-oriented professionals from stagnant ones. Here is the key to what I was speaking about earlier on. See, the key is that in those moments of me speaking with my supervisor, I understood the importance of follow-up. Because unfortunately, if you don't follow up with your external clients, there can be in that idea of there's a failure to communicate. And so when it's time to sit down and speak about a contract, when it's time to speak about what are the next steps on how to move forward, with these claims or whatever it is, there were some missed moments and or opportunities, and it can ultimately cost your organization money. That's not good. That's not key. And so with that feedback, now mine was, like I said, mine was weekly. There were some things that I had to learn. And then there was something that she mentioned to me right before she moved on to another position. She said to me, she felt like she could take me only as far as she could at that particular moment. And I felt like she was probably one of the best supervisors I ever had. So I understood that there was a level of investment that she had in me. And it changed my life. I didn't realize what she would have done and said to me all those years ago. Still, and we're talking almost 20 years ago now. All those years ago, how it has truly affected me in moving forward. Like this lady, when I applied for that position earlier on, she said, Maurice, you don't have the skills to do it. I eventually applied again and I got the position, but it wasn't necessarily on 100% on what she suggested. There were other things or other skill sets that I had to express, i.e. knowing Microsoft Excel. I didn't know it to her level, but I had willingness to learn. And there are some things, even like recently, I just learned as well. And so understanding that, as I said in another episode, learning is consistent, right? You have to be consistent with it. You have to understand that here where you are limited. So avoiding those type of conversations, if I would have avoided those type of conversations with my supervisor, it would have limited my awareness and it would have slowed my progress. So when we had challenges within the contract process or whatever it might have been, I was able to adapt. And so I want you to understand the reason why this matters of being aware and not avoiding that is that if you really, really welcome the honest input, you can stay aligned, adaptable, and positioned for continued growth. And that's what I did. I continued to grow. And here's the thing. That same information has allowed me and pushed me to grow even till today. See, sometimes you don't know what's going to be that one or two things that's going. It may not affect you today, but will it affect you tomorrow? And just because your supervisor is not saying anything to you, your clients just aren't saying anything to you, that silence may make you feel very, very comfortable, like everything is okay. It's the idea of no news is good news. But with that, it teaches you nothing. See, feedback, even when it hurts, even when it stings, even when it pinches you, but it keeps you in motion. So please identify one area where you need clearer feedback and intentionally invite it in. If everyone is on Team Maurice and you don't get a chance to hear where you're struggling, that is a challenge. If you don't get a chance to hear where things can be a little bit better, that's a challenge. So I encourage you to identify where you need clear feedback and intentionally invite it in. I appreciate you listening today and consider those that are around you because that breakfast table is very, very important. That breakfast table is very, very important. I thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?